do you guys think? Listen, if you can't laugh sometimes, you're going to cry. So I got my Padres overalls on from Foco. Click the link pinned in the chat. All right.
Wow.
I'd stand up, but
you can't stand up because they're too tight on you, I bet, huh?
Bro, these things are great. You got a pair too.
I know I did. And you have to wear them to Blind Burrow on Friday.
I may. I seriously may. It's the best thing that's happened since the Giants series.
Actually, it's the best thing that's happened since the Rays series, to be honest with you, because the Giants series was shit.
Like, seriously, like the month of June, like this is the best part of like the last month, even though we're now in July. John and Jim with you here on the wrap-up show. If you're here, please subscribe. Tonight's the night, by the way. We're going to get to 5,000 subscribers because of you guys. We're literally like a dozen away. So seriously, if you're here, you're playing a role in helping us get to 5,000 subscribers. This is incredible. This is an amazing community of Padres fans, win or lose, good times or bad times. Please subscribe if you're here. We'd love to get to 5,000 tonight and celebrate with you all. When we hit 5,000 officially, smash the like button for us. You can follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate the super chats. We really do. It's a great way to support our work. You can click the $ below the chat box. We'll get to all of the supers tonight. This is more about really the quotes. I mean, Peter Seidler's interview with Kevin Acee, Josh Hader, what he told Kevin Acee about his usage again this weekend. But Peter Seidler really doubling down in his backing of A.J. Preller. A vote of confidence really for his general manager, despite the fact that the Padres, Jim, are coming home 78 games to play, 8 games under 500, 8.5 games out of a playoff spot, seemingly, in a tailspin. But according to Peter Seidler, the general manager is not only safe, he's safe, period, per the owner.
Why should we be upset? I mean, this is what excellence looks like, John. What you're watching right now from the Padres and what you've watched for the last 9 years, one playoff appearance in a real season and one in 9 seasons and no NL West Division championships and no players drafted that became all-stars and potentially 3 collapses and, horrible seasons in a 9-year span, 4 managers. Like, this is what excellence looks like. And honestly, here, after reading that, I'm not even mad anymore because this is what we should be watching. We should be watching disappointment because that is what was described to me through Peter Seidler as excellence.
Okay, so you hate you. Okay, so just let's not make any bones about it. You hate the quotes. You take exception to the quotes. You despise the quotes. You are flabbergasted by the quotes.
The one thing about Peter Seidler that you have to love is his optimism. Okay. You don't want to have an owner that is like me, right? Who just, anything goes wrong, it's just end of the world, right? You don't want that type of owner. You want a level-headed guy. You want somebody that isn't going to make these drastic changes on the fly and go and firing people left and right. And I get that. On the flip side, I want my owner to also have awareness. I want the owner of the team to understand what's kind of staring him right in the face, that he seemingly, at least I'm going off of these quotes, and maybe these are just all smoke screens and whatnot, but knowing Peter Seidler, it's highly doubt it. I want my owner to be aware, and I want my owner to understand, like, okay, common denominator here. What is the main problem? And if the main problem is not AJ Preller, then I don't know what he's looking at. So yeah, the quotes did bother me. I didn't like them. I thought that was what he said about AJ Preller was really off base. I thought it was. And I like Peter, but I thought that, honestly, I thought some of his quotes were delusional, to be real with you. And the fact that he can't understand, like, who is the only guy that's been here in the last 9 years that has been in charge of everything to bring it to where it is today. I'm not saying it's like this complete train wreck, but it feels like one at this moment in time. I just don't understand why there has to be this glowing praise of AJ Preller when he has accomplished, frankly, nothing besides one playoff appearance in 9 seasons in a regular season, a regular year.
Which, of course, was last year, but here's the thing. I don't even read into what he's saying. As crazy as that sounds, I don't even read into what he's saying because yes, it's a vote of confidence. Yes, it's a full backing, but the season.
It's literally like
AJ
if I go away, then the franchise is yours.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Preller did the same thing for his manager, Jay Stingler, last year, and it doesn't matter. And he gets rid of him because there's pressure and there's outside influence. And this is only a half season report card. If at the end of the year they win 70 games, it's going to look different than if they win 87 games. And we don't know what's going to happen. According to Peter Seidler, he thinks this is still a playoff team. By the way, neither Seidler nor Preller fully were willing to say that Bob Melvin will be back in 2024. So that was something of interest to me. So neither of them have said within the last 48 hours that Bob Melvin will be back in 2024. They weren't critical at all of Bob Melvin. But I would say this. I mean, it's the halfway point. And yeah, it's glowing praise of his general manager, but I heard glowing praise of a manager last year and the manager was fired. So I don't take it as gospel. I just don't.
The reason why I do is because he, after 2021, which was horrific, he said almost the same things about him, and he stayed around. And that was
after 2021,
right? And yes, 2022 did happen. It's like the crowning achievement of this franchise of the last 20 years. But you can't live off one NLCS appearance and expect that to give you, a grace period of how many years? Like you can't back up an NLCS run with spending the most money in franchise history on a payroll and missing the postseason. Like you just can't. And then you also have to factor in like his history here. It's not just 2 years of what he's been doing. It's 9 seasons. 9. I'm not going to discredit 9 years because they made the NLCS run last season.
Chill, son. A couple things. It's not 9 seasons under Seidler, and the first few seasons they weren't supposed to do anything. Okay, you can say they had a nice winter meetings in 2015, and they were going. I mean, let's be honest. They were rebuilding for the first 4 years of his tenure. Were they not? I mean, I was here. They were rebuilding. I recall it. They were legit rebuilding. Everyone was understanding of it. Nobody said they were going to make the postseason in 2016 or 2017. We have freaking newspaper on the floor. My dog is digging on it.
It's okay. Just move the newspaper.
Get a job. Look at this.
Pay rent.
So they were. Listen, I mean, it's like, yeah, the expectations the last 4 years have been to win, and they've won it. They've either won or they failed miserably. That's the last 4 years. 2020 they won. 2021 they failed miserably. 2022 they won. 2023 they're going to fail miserably. And I get it. I'm with you. I think that if at the end of the season they're out and they failed miserably, that's too many times to fail miserably in the decade of the 2020s, which is the decade of the Padres. But I would say let it play out because things can change. I mean, the season's not over. Peter Seidler can change his mind.
You're right. But like, I just don't see it happening.
Right. He does. When he speaks, he sounds pretty. Yeah.
Like, do you know Peter Seidler's a guy to go back and forth?
It's pretty unwavering. I mean, like you've seen the tweets on this though. Like, hey, I'm all for continuity, and I'll make a change, but then it's like they've changed everything else, Jim. I mean, they've changed managers, they've changed players, they've changed coaches.
Right.
So why can't they change general managers?
Yeah, that to me is just kind of not hypocritical is the right word, but just not understanding like the things you're saying are easily can be viewed as like, wait, you really think that's what you're doing here is because you're keeping AJ Preller around? And I'm not firing AJ Preller right now because look, you just got a draft and you have a trade deadline and you have to keep AJ Preller and you have to keep Bob Melvin for the rest of the season. And there is always that caveat of, yes, they could magically turn this thing around and make the postseason. But with that being said, the trend lines just look horrific. And I mean, still 8 games out of a playoff spot with 79 to go.
8.5 with 78. You're always off.
I know. I'm always off. Move the newspaper.
So much newspaper. Kristen's idea for a pee pad, which hasn't worked. He just digs on it.
Because there's these things at Petco. They're actual like pee pads, not like newspapers.
Well, we bought those too. He's literally obsessed with these newspapers.
Do you want to go like move them real quick?
Not really, dude. I remember my first time digging.
I remember my first time being a dog.
Look at this pee pad.
Oh, that doesn't work. Yeah, they only work for like newborns.
This dog is. It's because this dog is. Oh yeah.
50 years
Sullivan.
old.
Let's get to some of these supers. Guys, if you're here, subscribe. Where are we at, Jim, in subscribers?
It's a great question. Hold on, because we are very close to 5,000
right,
guys.
We're 14 away, guys.
14 away. Come on.
We're 14 away.
If you're watching this right now and you're
we
not
want to celebrate live,
please subscribe. Get us to 5,000 tonight so we can celebrate with you.
Yeah.
If all 266 people watching right now are subscribed, then that's great. But if you're in here and you're not subscribed, just hit the subscribe button. We'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a good plea by Jim. All right, let's start with this. And guys, if you're here, please subscribe. And also, we appreciate the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. Really do appreciate your support of our work. Click the $ below the chat box. We will get to all of your comments, and you can interact with us here tonight on the wrap-up show. Kind of control the direction of the conversation as well. Okay, here are the quotes.
Hey, so Cheeseburger, I don't have freaking overalls. Chill out.
Put someone in. Wait, who said that?
Somebody in the chat saying put on overalls and I'll resubscribe. I don't have them. John has them.
Yeah, I have Jim's overalls in my home. They literally arrived.
I don't have them. I physically can't put them on.
Maybe yesterday, but I haven't seen Jim since yesterday. A couple of things. JD Gaucho, thanks for hanging out with us on Friday at Fair Play. And thank you for the cookie, which I've already eaten. He says, Hader got get over yourself, refused to go 2 innings joke. Okay, here are the quotes. Because Jim hasn't even seen these. This is from Kevin Acey in his notebook. In that the Padres' playoff aspirations are wheezing, it could be argued that Friday night's game was important enough to call for him to be stretched out after the Padres took a 2-run lead in the 10th. This is the quote from Hader. I wasn't comfortable with it. Hader said when asked why he did not go longer than 1 inning. Obviously, we're all banged up in the bullpen. We're hurting. We got time back today, but it just wasn't right. First of all, he was off for 10 days before that outing. Of the 11 pitchers in the major leagues with 16 or more saves this year, Hader's the only to not have made, not to have a save of 4 outs or more, essentially is what he's saying. So now I wasn't overly uncomfortable with it. And we talked about this Friday in the moment. He threw 20 pitches in that 1 inning. He hadn't thrown for 10 days. I didn't see him throwing 40 innings or 40 pitches. Not 40 innings. That'd be a lot. But he says he wasn't comfortable with it.
I tried to make the argument on Friday for him that needing to pitch another inning, but then you look at the factors like you said, and not pitching for 10 days and throwing 20 pitches in the inning. It made sense why he didn't pitch a second inning. Jesus. But is anything new? Like, we knew he wasn't going to go 2 innings. He's not going to go 2 innings. The only time he's going to ever go more than 3 outs is in a postseason game, which he did last year against the Dodgers. So it's just not going to happen. And also, I mean, I'm not going to call him selfish, but if you look at what Hader is dealing with right now, free agent year, number 1, he's going to get traded at the trade deadline, number 2, and they're on a losing team. So if you want to call him selfish, call him selfish. But
he'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
But he'll make $100 million at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. And I'm with you. I want listen, everyone wants to see the Padres win, but if this guy gets hurt, he's literally going to cost himself 90% of them. Maybe not, but you know what I mean? If it's an elbow situation or shoulder, like he's got nothing guaranteed beyond this year. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Not a penny.
And he's doing, for when he's in there, he's been amazing. I'll take away a couple outings here and there.
Very good.
But, you know, he's an all-star for a reason. He's one of the best closers of the game for a reason. He's just not going to tax himself and go pitch multiple innings in the regular season. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, kind of is what it is, and and it has to be a situation which Bob Melvin actually talked about today, where okay, we have to because of this, we are going to have to pick and choose where we use him. And after the game, he said the plan was for Nick Martinez to pretty much, if they kept the tie there instead of giving the 2-run homer, pitch the 9th inning, hopefully get that lead in the 10th, and then use Josh Hader in the bottom of the 10th. Like that was the plan
You're saying today.
Yeah, today.
Which goes against the plan from Friday.
Right. But hey, he knows that he can't trust anybody else right now at the back of the pen.
True,
So
but it's like, okay, so you're willing to lose in 9, then go to 10?
At least you have a guy
At
out
least
there
you've
that you
lost.
semi-trust with Nick Martinez. And
Other than the fact that he's been awful.
No, I know he's been horrific, and I don't know why they didn't keep Cosgrove in the game today. That was another bad move by Melvin that didn't work out in his favor.
He's just has no feel.
No feel. That's the first thing I thought of, John. Is
and
that
again, I did
feel
too
for a moment.
But again, I get it. Okay, Cosgrove walks whoever it was, Fairchild. Okay,
he's given up 1 earned run all year.
I know. It's like, okay, there's 2 outs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, I don't know. It's like Mr. Trustworthy, which has been Bob Melvin. Now you're getting like the quick trigger.
And the only thing I can think of,
you didn't go to Hader. Like, if you're going to Hader, they're great, and he gives up a 2-run home run. You live with it. You didn't go to Hader.
All right, this is the only thing I can think of about Cosgrove, and he's such bullshit. He picks up the loss today. I mean, that's so stupid.
Yeah, because of the walk. Yeah.
Okay, I was wrong. I thought this was his first outing back, but he pitched yesterday's blowout game. This is, by the way, typical fucking Padres, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Typical frauds. Go out there and score 15 runs the next day. You fucking manage to only get 3. Like, give me a break. That's why they're not serious.
And they didn't score a run until 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Right.
Back-to-back home runs.
Right. And they fought a little bit in the 9th, but still didn't.
They did. And there was the bad strikeout of Bogarts.
Yeah, but he should have struck out on the pitch before that.
Well, and he didn't have a good game, and he's not playing well. And again, you can parse down any one plate appearance or at bat where you could just say they didn't show up really by and large offensively in game 3, and to lose another series, you could say they fought. Listen, I actually think, Jim, there's some things to like. Friday was back and forth.
I agree.
I mean, it's like, they did show us something.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday they scored. Sunday they could have rolled over down 2-0. They could have rolled over down 4-2. So they're showing you something, but it's not really show me something season.
No,
it's win or else. And unfortunately, they're losing.
Right, and it's nice of Manny to pad his stats on Saturday, but on Friday and Sunday, completely not show up. Same thing with Bogarts. The only 2 guys, actually, there's only 3 people in this lineup that I give a shit about offensively. It's Kim, Tatis, and Soto. Everyone else is, hey, we're up 10-1. Let me hit a fucking 3-run homer to give me some stats. Like, that's good. But yeah, the move today by the Cosgrove move didn't make any sense. I was like, why the fuck are you taking him out? Like, he threw, how many pitches did he throw?
It couldn't have been a lot.
Threw 15 pitches. Like,
I was going to say like 12.
I mean, and honestly, Pedro Avila, credit to him.
Kept him in it.
Kept him in it.
No doubt.
Tim Hill remains to be a disaster. And Morejon pitched pretty well.
Yep.
So
worked out of trouble.
I just, again, no feel for Melvin right now. He's pulling all the wrong strings, and everything is working against him.
I don't think he'll be here, by the way, and I don't know why. And I'm not saying it's the organization's decision. It might be his decision. I don't see it. I don't see the fit right now. I just don't.
Well, it has to be his decision.
I know. I agree with you. I agree, but I'm telling you, I just don't see it. I don't see someone that wants to be here, and I don't blame them. And let me get to this super from Rocket. Thank you, Rocket. Rocket says, all for defending Bomel, but I just knew Martinez was going to blow it. This is what we're talking about. And Seidler's comments about Preller so out of touch, which we've been talking about. But yeah, listen, it's not fair to say Bob Melvin's the reason why this team is where this team is, but he's had really some bad strategical moments over the last month. I'd say from San Francisco on, there's 3 or 4 games you can second, triple, quadruple guess.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like he needs this, to be honest with you. I mean, you're going to win 72 games this year, and then he's coming back for what?
Yeah. Does he really need the headache of dealing with AJ Preller on a daily basis? Does he really need the headache of dealing with probably a moody clubhouse and Manny Machado? Like, does he really need the headache of that? I don't think he does.
20-something years in.
I don't think he does. I think that if you look at Bob Melvin at the start of 2022, and then whenever he's finished with the Padres, you're gonna be like, that guy aged a lot.
Yeah. It's like being president.
Yeah. Like the
Right.
shit I'm sure he has to deal with behind the closed doors is just not fun.
Yeah.
Even
not
last
behind
year
closed
too.
doors.
Even last year too. Just a lot of bullshit.
Even on the field, it's not that fun right now.
No.
Delta J Ford, thank you for the super. I know he was at the game today, and I know Delta J Ford, you had tweeted me. That's awesome. He was there in Cincinnati. It would have
Nice.
been more awesome if they won. But
Yeah,
man,
sorry about that.
how about the crowds? Huge crowds.
Cincy's
Really
a fun team,
amazing
man.
atmosphere. Yeah, and they're a good team. Very good team.
I mean, they got a lot of young players. De La Cruz, Abbott today.
Rookies everywhere.
Amazing.
Yep.
Struess is his name. The guy hit the walk-off the other day for the Reds. What's his name? Steer.
Steer, yeah.
Yeah. He's Spencer Steer.
He's a rookie. The other dude who homered the other day is a rookie. Yeah, they're young, but they're exciting.
I mean, Fairley is a good player. Jake Fairley.
I think it's Farley.
Farley. It's Fraley.
Fraley.
That's what I thought.
That's right.
Friedel. I mean, these guys have a good team.
They're playing great. I mean, they started slow, but then they called everyone up, and they've been playing great. Davey, thank you if I'm saying that right, or Davey, thank you so much for the super chat, guys. If you're here, please subscribe. I think we're about 10 subscribers away from 5,000. If you are here, we want to celebrate.
10 away, guys.
10 subscribers away. Subscribe for the overalls. Okay, click the link in the chat.
John,
if you want them.
Yes. 10 away, guys.
Okay, we should have signed Kim instead of Cronenworth. He's younger and has played better than him this season. And last one as well. Shout out to Lumi. Shout out Lumi.
Thanks, Lumi.
Shout out to Lumi.
Shout out to Lumi.
But should have signed Kim, not Cronenworth. Interesting.
Here's my take on that. You should have signed neither of them. Okay, wait it out because giving long contracts doesn't really seem to work for this franchise a lot. A couple times it does.
Who's coming for them? Who's coming for
nobody.
Cronenworth when he becomes a free agent?
Nobody. And if you give Kim a fat contract, he loses all trade value. And that's why Cronenworth has. I mean, he had no value but no value.
No, he'd have value if he was an arbitration player that wasn't making anything. I mean, he'd have at least some value. Now he has no value.
But do you want a guy hitting 200 with a 600 OPS?
No, I don't. I really don't. But now you really don't. Making $80 million. This is like the Hosmer deal,
dude. Worse.
I don't know if it's worse or not.
At least Hosmer did a little. I mean, Jake Cronenworth has been.
You're saying Hosmer is better than Cronenworth?
No, he's not. But numbers wise, not as like an overall player. I'm just saying, like, show me the numbers. Like,
he's just not a first baseman. I mean, let's be honest with you. I mean, he's not.
He's not.
He's not a first baseman. He's a good defensive player, but he's not an offensive first baseman, nor was Eric Hosmer. You need power out of first base. Let's not kid ourselves. In an ultra productive offensive season for Jake Cronenworth, he's at best, slightly below average first baseman. At best.
And again, it goes back to roster construction. Why the fuck are you putting a shortstop at first base? And why the fuck are you going out and signing another shortstop when you have 3 on the roster? I mean, Tatis can play almost anywhere, but at the same time, it took Tatis maybe a little bit to acclimate to right field. And he had to buy in. And Kim can play second and short, but you got a bunch of guys that are like all over the field. And it's like, hey, Cronenworth, you go at first base. Like, what the fuck? I mean, how about you sign a real first baseman? That'd be cool.
Adrian, you've supered, I want to say, the last couple of days. Now, I don't exactly know what you're saying, but he says something along the line of, if we keep losing, maybe it forces Seidler to see the light. But I don't really know. I mean, we went through the charade in 2021, and they didn't even have 2022. Like in 2021, they didn't have 2022, so we couldn't see the light.
Right. There's no
2022, and he kept him after 2021 before 2022 exists. That's your point, Jim. That's the problem. Like, now he's got the data point of 2022. Does he feel he can even hold on stronger now that he saw that firsthand?
Yeah, and that's the problem here, because I do think while last year's postseason run was great, it masked a lot of problems that was the 2022 season. I mean, I guarantee you in 5 years, people are going to forget that team wasn't really a good regular season team. They just weren't. and they had a lot of problems that year. And they honestly played 4 of the 6 months under 500. And
Right.
I'm not saying
I think 4 to 6 months they were like 500. We'd have to look.
I'm not saying they backed their way into the postseason, but if they didn't have collapses, like bigger collapses than they've ever seen before, even 2021 from a couple of teams in front of them, they probably don't make the postseason. So that's the thing here is the postseason run was great, and you can't take. I mean, those memories and being at Petco, beating the Dodgers, like those are going to live on forever. But it's one of those things where it's going to mask the true problems with the team for the future, like to make sure that this team continues to win and be in contention. And that's like what is the problem here, is that possibly is giving extra time to people that, maybe don't deserve it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that is fair. Let me get to this next super from AKR, who says Avila was a stud. By and large, again, has the pitching really been the issue? The bullpen has absolutely been the issue for the last couple of weeks because they've blown a lot of leads and they've been in a lot of tie games and they've lost a lot of close games. But I mean, are you really blaming? What you're blaming is the Steven Wilson injury and Robert Suarez and mismanagement, and Josh Hader doesn't go more than an inning, and it's just caught up to him. It's just caught up to him right now, I think.
In depth and organization depth, and then you go to guys not performing and giving contracts to Bogarts, and then Manny just not showing up at all this year.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. It gets player side and management side all mixed into one to be a giant shit show.
Joshua, thank you so much for the generous super. Guys, thank you if you're here. Please subscribe. Working our way to 5,000 within 10 of 5,000 subscribers. We want to celebrate with you tonight. We are at 4,991. We are 9 away. Please subscribe if you are here. Joshua, thank you. He says, hey, guys, first time commenting. With the season the way it is, Bogart should go on the IL and get the surgery. I don't want to see Bob leave. This front office is so bad. The problem, I'd be with you, Joshua, if I had heard from Xander Bogaerts that a surgery would be the remedy. I think what we've heard so far is the surgery is not going to fix it. I don't buy that. I've never heard of a surgery that doesn't fix something. So I don't buy that. If there's something in the wrist, I feel like it can be fixed surgically. And I think it's an interesting point. I would say, listen, you're never going to do it now. It's July 2nd. There's way too much season in front of this team. You can't quit on it. But if it's like September 1st and you're in the same spot, yeah. I think that's interesting to get a month head start. This is what they did with Tatis last year, and it worked out swimmingly. The guy's been, knock on wood, healthy and played like every inning since coming back from this suspension.
I know he had the wrist issue in Boston
last year.
Something cause it in season this year, or is
hit by pitch? Remember?
Okay. Because I was thinking to myself, he had a wrist issue in Boston, and if they seriously like overlooked this thing, like what the fuck?
No, I don't think they did, but they did do cortisone in spring, and then he got hit in April.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, I mean, Bogarts' numbers are pathetic.
They're awful.
They're pathetic. I saw Darnay put out a tweet tonight. I can't look at it because my rate limit's exceeded. So,
that's too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe you should buy the $8 or whatever.
No, fuck you, Twitter.
And support Twitter.
No, I will not.
Okay.
That guy's an idiot. Jesus. It was along the lines of what he has done with runners on first and second, or at least just runners on this year. And he's hitting like 180.
I know he's had so many opportunities.
And it's a lot. His ground ball rate, here's the one that stood out the most. His ground ball rate with runners on is 83%.
Is that good?
That's worse. That's like twice as worse than ever Hosmer was here.
Yeah. 83%.
Dude, what the fuck?
I mean, you look up, it's July 2nd, which means tomorrow's July 3rd. Manny Machado's got a 692 OPS. Trash. I said it for you, Chad. You can keep commenting how you know. Have you seen Chad in the comments? This guy Chad in the comments.
What's he saying?
No, not in the comment live chat. In the comments of like our YouTube channel, how he just goes after Manny like constantly. Like
Chad?
He literally like just comes to the channel to like kill Manny. I'm like, dude, we get it. Like, I don't even know what to say. Okay, Chad, He's not hitting. Like, what do you?
Chad or
Okay,
Chat?
Chad.
Okay.
Chad, who always comments after the fact. Chad, congratulations, Manny Machado went hitless. I hope you're happy. And then Xander Bogaerts, who's got a 713 OPS. Their combined OPS this year, I mean, I have to do the actual math, is 700. But Machado Bogaerts combined OPS is 700. Like, you were hoping for like 850, 880 combined OPS at 700. It's a big problem. Big one.
Yeah. He hasn't shown up in the big moments at all this year. Maybe once, maybe twice. But
yeah, no, they've all had moments, I'm sure. You know, Bogaerts.
No, he's this year he's been great in 10-1 games. He's been awesome.
Well, he was great in Mexico when it was 30-0, and
Dude,
he was great yesterday when
you
it was
could have hit a home
20-10.
run in Mexico.
I think I did hit one. HBVV, thank you for the super. He says Manny needs to worry about Ohtani soon, not shoes.
That matchup on 4th of July
Tuesday
is going to be. I mean, that's going to be a fun game to watch. Ohtani versus Musgrove. Dude, Ohtani versus Machado. I mean, good luck, Manny.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, good luck, Padres, to be honest.
He's going to pump 100 down your fucking throat.
Dude, Padres at Petco, where they're like the worst hitting offense at home in baseball against Shohei Ohtani, doesn't scream, 8-run outbursts, but I've been wrong before. Hopefully I am Tuesday night.
By the way, are you saying the right person? Because Chad in the chat is saying
no, not Chad in the chat. Some other there's multiple people in the world named. It's not Chad in the chat.
Oh,
it's
is it
Chad in the comments?
Oh, in the comments.
The
okay,
comments after the fact. No, not Chad here.
Okay. I was like, what the what?
No.
Gotcha.
There's multiple Chads. They're saying John or Jim. I'm saying there's some guy named Chad. I could easily find his name in 2 seconds. I'm going to.
Chad's like, fucking me in the chat right now.
You, Chad. Come on, man. Hold on. I'll tell you exactly who it is.
Okay, cool. Name, address, social security
we got 5,000 subscribers. It's Chad Travis 7832. Here's what he said the last time we did a wrap-up show. He's got, look at this dude. He's got 4 comments. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
So here we go.
Yes.
Padres fans need to remember that they wanted Machado in all caps. You reap what you sow. Under 500 with loser Machado for the next decade. Get used to this. I then replied, how mad are you that he hit 2 homers today? And then Padres are so pathetic right now that fighting back is considered a positive now. Worst season ever by far with 8 Rs. Then this. Peter Seidler is the laughingstock of baseball. He's the one who continues to tell fans that AJ is the man to run the sinking ship. Then he goes off on Machado, blah, blah, blah.
Are you sure this isn't Dick Montfort?
Chad Travis, 72-90 record seems like a lock. At this point, how many do they lose in a row? Will Manny Machado ever do anything positive in a game offensively ever again? You all love him, and now this franchise is destroyed because of him. Awesome. Chad, go away. Please.
I have something to confess. I am
You
Chad.
are Chad. Seriously, it wouldn't shock me. It's very... You're Chad-esque. We're going to get back to the Supers in a moment. I do want to remind our viewers about our title sponsor here on the wrap-up show. That would be Mark Nimitz, who I believe might be in the chat right now. I know he was here just a few minutes ago. Mark, great to have you with us as always. Mark has been with us since day one of the wrap-up show on YouTube. He's our title sponsor. He's an amazing insurance agent. I've got a homeowner's, earthquake, and life insurance policy right now through Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, and you should too. He can save you so much money just by switching over. He could save you $750 or more, and if you ever have a claim, he's going to take care of everything. He's got great service and communication. We had to file a claim in 2022. He took care of it all. I mean, he literally took care of it all. So he's got great service and communication. He can save you money. He's a native San Diegan. He's a huge Padres fan. He's frustrated like we all are. I think he thinks maybe that Peter Seidler and AJ Preller are going to buy at the deadline. I don't know if that's the case or not, Mark. But if you're looking for insurance, whether it's a renewal, he can save you money. If it's a new policy, get a quote through Mark. Free quotes, auto, home, renter's life, earthquake, whatever it is. Mark Nimitz is your guy. Click the link in the description down below to get to his website, which you can see on the screen. But Mark, thank you for your support. Happy 4th. And again, if you have insurance needs, get in contact with Mark Nimitz.
Yeah, all his information's above my head, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. He just reached the century mark as far as reviews go. 5 out of 5 stars. He can help you with all your insurance needs. Reach out to him, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. And when you do reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap Up Show sent you.
By the way, I saw Mark asking, what DH are we going to get at the deadline? I'm like,
Ohtani.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, nothing of substance. I can promise you that. I'd be shocked if they added anything except if they were selling something, if that makes sense. You sell off some parts, you get a major league piece or two potentially back. But I'm not saying they're definitely selling. I would, but who knows right now? But they're not buying. They might be standing pat to some extent, moving a small piece, but I'd sell. The Haders, bye-bye. The Snells. I mean, you want to get something back for these players.
What if they do buy at the deadline and don't sell, and they get like 2 relievers that are like going to be free agents at the end of the year, and they don't sell off Snell and Hader?
No, they're not going to do that.
What would
unless
you do?
They go 15-8 or better the next 23 games to pull within a game of 500.
I don't put anything past this franchise, man. I just don't. Good or bad, I just don't, because I just don't trust them.
You're telling me this team's going to be even, let's say they're 3 games under 500, 6.5 games out of a playoff spot. You're going to go buy? Give me a break.
I could see them doing that, yes. I'm not doing it, but I could see them doing it because they're too blinded.
Another thing, Ashcraft, 900 OPS to right-handed batters all season. Why the hell are Odor and Carpenter in there on Friday? I thought matchups are key. I don't know. I can't go through every single game. I'd have to go back to Friday's game to figure that out. I don't know. Is that coming from the front office? I have no clue.
He came in with a 9 or 7 ERA, and he fucking shoved.
Correct. Was it Carpenter's birthday? No, it was Cruz's birthday the other day.
That's why he was in there. Yes.
So I can't answer that. Is Bob Melvin writing the lineup card is the question we've asked. I don't know.
It's a groupthink thing, John.
I think they're doing ChatGPT.
Probably.
They're like, yo, this guy is facing our team. Who should we start? Delta J4, thank you. Who says he was screaming at Melvin for pulling Cosgrove. When Martinez gave up the home run, a Reds fan pat my shoulder and said, you called it. There have been games lost by Melvin, but this season is on Preller. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, Delta. I think there are games this year that have been lost by Melvin, and I do think that AJ Preller is the one that deserves the blame. It's his team, literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
his fingerprints are all over this thing. He doesn't control all health or all performance, but it's his team. So he gets the praise when it works, and he gets the criticism when it doesn't. And right now, he should be critiqued heavily for how this has played out.
Yes, I 100% agree. This season's not on Melvin. That's why I think a couple weeks ago, when people legitimately wanted to fire him, we were telling you that is the dumbest thing that you could possibly do. And then you look at the depth of this organization and the fact that you're having Reese Kinnear start games instead of Blake Snell on regular rest, and you're bringing up nobody from the minor leagues that can help you in the bullpen while you have injuries, and you have no depth on your roster. That's on the general manager who built the team. And then if you want to go a step further, yes, Peter Seidler does deserve blame as well for this whole thing as well. So they all are to blame, but number one's AJ Preller.
I don't know how much blame I'm putting on Seidler for 2023. We can talk in 2024 if he sticks with Preller, but in terms of the results of 2023, Manny Machado was going to be here.
Yeah.
No matter what, whether a contract was given or not. And they spent money on Xander Bogaerts. That's Peter Seidler's fault. That's our criticism.
No. It goes back to,
keeping Preller.
Yeah, that too. But you're right. Coming off a 2022 NLCS run, it's like, well, the fuck am I going to fire my general manager?
Exactly. You can't.
The Seidler thing. Everyone, when they lose, John, everyone deserves blame. It just maybe not a lot goes on Peter Seidler at this moment, because you're right. Was he not supposed to spend money? We all want your owner to spend money.
Sure.
But then that flips around if this thing does not turn around and this thing continues to go south and they miss the postseason this year, and there's still this unwavering support from Peter for AJ, then we can start talking about more blame for him if that happens.
No, I get it. I think that's fair. By the way, 7 subscribers away from 5,000. Please subscribe. We want to celebrate with Padres fans tonight. There's nothing else to celebrate. So let's celebrate 5,000 subscribers on the wrap-up show. It doesn't cost you a dime. Hit that subscribe button if you are here. We appreciate the supers like this one from Moises. Click the $ below the chat box. We'll get to all of them. He says, John and Jim is excellent. Well, we did capture, I don't know what we captured a year ago, but something. Was it excellence in broadcasting? I don't think so.
No, it was a couple of awards.
San Diego's something.
The best radio show or something
in the UT.
Right.
We're trying to go back to back, but if we don't, the award has no credibility.
And it's all your guys' fault.
If we win it, we're going to pretend like it's the biggest thing ever. If we lose,
of course.
Who cares?
If we lose, who gives a shit?
Who reads the UT?
Nobody.
Kidding. We're kidding.
Actually,
Rocket, thank you. Rocket says it's so in Preller's blood to buy out of a hole. I mean, but can you even buy out of it? Poker analogies are perfect here. It's like you could catch a card. It's simple as that. There's 52 in the deck, and when you're left with 1 out in the deck, you have a 2% chance. So if they get to the trade deadline with a 2% chance, I guess you're right. I mean, they still have a 2% chance. It won't be 0% at the deadline, so maybe they do buy. But I told you, Jim, a month ago, I said the issue with doing that is you're putting a lot of trust in a guy that may not be here. Like, I don't want him dictating this deadline and directing 2024 if he's not doing, like, if he's not going to be here in 2024.
Well, according to Peter Seidler, he's going to be here for the next 10 fucking years.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, he's going to be here forever, according to Peter.
Right.
Because this fucking guy can do no wrong. And any mistake that he makes, which far outweighs any successes that he has had, just doesn't matter to Peter. He wants to have stability. And in his mind, he thinks stability is just having the same people in place forever. And that's not what it's about. It's about making the right decisions and knowing that if someone's not getting the job done and you've given that person an adequate amount of time to try and get the job done right, and they're still not getting it done even after a couple successes here and there. But the overall, resume of AJ, it doesn't scream excellence or success.
Let's pull up that quote real quick. I have it on screen. Guys, we're 4 subscribers away. Thank you, guys. Please subscribe. We're going to hit 5,000 tonight because of your support of this channel. Here is the quote that is in the UT from Kevin Acey. I'm not afraid to make changes, Seidler said. I never have been, but I really value stability. And when I know the person as well and the skill set as well as I know AJ and Eric, he's talking about Grupner, they're not going anywhere, period. I believe in stability. It is something that is undervalued, generally speaking, in organizations and maybe particularly in sports franchises. But I'm not for mediocre stability. I'm for excellence. And to me, AJ is excellence. It's a bit strong.
How could you say that about somebody? Like, how can you say that about a guy that has accomplished what in his time here? 1 NLCS run? Signing some really good players, but not having that turn into division titles and World Series appearances. Like, now it might be all premature because they just signed Xander Bogaerts and they just re-signed Manny Machado to a $1 million deal. But, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, you're really thinking I wouldn't have such an issue with his quote if he didn't drop the AJ's excellence line, honestly. Like, that to me just screams not aware. Like,
it's kind of like a Scott Boras quote. Sometimes when I see these Seidler quotes, they're a little bit like, what's the right word? Like euphoric.
Oh, for sure.
like
movies, like a movie scene.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is the most
Not very
dramatic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, do you agree if he did not say the excellence line, it would be not as bad as a quote?
Yeah, I agree. And there was a couple of funny quotes in there where he's like, word like that. He's like, one thing I know is like, this is the best 38 and 45 team in baseball history.
Oh, yeah.
I
saw
it. Come on.
I didn't want to put too much into that. I saw it because
he's clearly joking.
He's clearly joking. And the tone of his voice, I'm sure, was like fucking sarcastic. So I'm not going to look at that as something that he said to be super serious. So I'm not going to take that and run with it, but I will run with the AJ's excellence line. I'll forever run with that until AJ's not here anymore.
Reminds me like the Raiders. Not that they're good, but like the excellence.
Like the
Right.
excellence of the Padres. You guys have
Yeah.
done jack shit in 20 plus years.
We were talking about this today. Thank you, Hot Wheels 84. My son loves Hot Wheels and knows by look the difference between a Hot Wheels car and a Matchbox car, which is like ridiculous. He's like, Hot Wheels. I'm like, how do you know that?
He's gonna be a race car driver.
He very well could be, but I won't allow that
I know
unless
you
there's
won't.
like padded walls.
Mhm.
He says Melvin and AJ get along like Russia and the Ukraine. This is from Nick Canepa within the last day
Mhm.
in the UT. He said he heard, right? Through the
Yes.
grapevine or
Yes. He says like it was basically Nick Canepa's one and only breaking news drop of his last 10 years. Maybe 20, maybe 30.
guys, one away from 5,000.
Let's go.
Let's just, you know how when you watch the Mr. Beast channel and it literally is just like scrolling constantly, like it's
like,
a ticker.
Ours is
Yeah.
like,
I was like, okay, we've been doing this for 2 years. We're hopeful to hit 5,000 subscribers tonight.
Dude.
Right. Let's see. Boom.
Everyone give yourself a round of applause. We appreciate you all. Thank you for getting us to 5,000. You guys are the best. Without you, we would literally not be here because me and John doing a show talking to nobody would be kind of pointless.
We would still do it.
Yes.
But you guys make it way better.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you very much. I'm
live
bowing
run
to you.
replay.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Honestly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're just 45,000 away from 50K. So please subscribe. Year-round exclusive Padres content. I mean, what's the max? What's the most subscribers we could have? If we did this for a decade, how many subscribers would we have?
Like 15 and 20.
What if they win 2 World Series?
Could be bigger than that.
What'd you just say? Do you want to do what?
I said, what's your take on what Sesme said?
Nothing. I don't trust it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I don't put any stock in it.
It's funny because I give him shit all the time because he's just completely clueless about a lot of things and he tries to be funny and it's not. But this one is a little bit of like, okay, someone said it. All right. Because to me, it just knowing who AJ Preller is and how crazy psycho he can be, and then looking on the flip side to Bob Melvin, I mean, is it hard to put 2 and 2 together here to say that they don't really probably get along well?
It's an interesting point also from Rich that says, I'm assuming Melvin is the Ukraine. Yeah, I don't know if he's saying Melvin is
who's who.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic there. I mean, I'm not saying it might be accurate, but does Nick Canepa cover the team?
No, he's never around the team.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, can you hear from some? But that becomes hearsay. It's not even permissible in court.
But also, too, if Nick never said that, and someone else said it,
sure. Oh, if Kevin said it, I trust it, of course, because Kevin covers the team.
So just because Nick said it, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, if Kevin said it, Kevin literally, is at 150 of these 162 games and is in the clubhouse, and I think understands the dynamics. Dennis,
okay, what about this? What if nobody said it? Would you still think that they don't get along?
I think if it comes from the right source, I don't.
No, nobody said it. You're thinking you're John Schaefer. You're not listening to anybody else. You're just watching and seeing how everything's playing out.
Oh, and I think there's issues.
Okay, that's what I'm
because
of
what Bob Melvin's saying publicly now about his bullpen specifically.
Right.
And I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. And correct me if you think I have this wrong, because I forget sometimes on air and off air. But like I do want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not gonna say anything. Darren has spoken to this matter, has he not?
Yeah.
To the AJ Preller Bob Melvin dynamic.
Yeah.
And that it's not exactly maybe hunky dory.
Yeah.
So because others are saying it, I give that credence. Nick saying it, with all due respect. I mean, I don't know Nick Canepa, to be honest with you, but I think he's similar to me, that he's not in the clubhouse, every night.
Well, also too, just going to what was said in the article written by Dennis Lin and Ken Rosenthal 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair.
About how Preller is.
Of course, that's before Melvin, though. But yeah.
But Melvin's none of that.
I know, but it's like Melvin took the job, so he must have some thought. I mean, if it was, he took the job. So if he thought from the outside, this is the worst person in baseball to work for, would he have taken the job? He could have gone elsewhere. I mean, the Yankees tried to get him, pry him away 2 years prior, 1 year prior, So I don't know. Maybe he thought something and something else has played out over the last 2 years. That's possible. Delta J Ford, thank you. He says dedicated portion of Dan Clark isn't a real person. Is this the dedicated portion of the show where Dan Clark is not a real person? That's fair. And he followed up with shout out to Morejon for not leaving with 4 earned runs, though. He went 3 innings, did not allow an earned run, worked out of trouble. So Adrian Morejon pitching some quality innings today, Jim, for the Padres. I know you like to see that.
Again, Adrian Morejon, great. He did a good job today, but he'll never be a starter. He'll never give you 6 innings. He hasn't pitched more than, I think, 3 innings in his entire career, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that accurate?
I'm
That's an incredible statement. But yeah, because he probably hasn't started. Like, he has started, but he's always gone like 3 innings.
I don't think he's ever pitched more than 3 innings in his entire career.
That's crazy.
So congrats to Adrian Morejon. Talk to me when he throws 5 consecutive outings of 6 runs, 6 innings or more.
Okay, so I'll talk to you in like 1990 never. Okay, guys, while we have a moment, we do need to thank our partners here on the wrap-up show, including our friends at Aura. They have a 25% off sale going on right now with code USA25. 25% off with code USA25. It's their July 4th sale. Great company. Their co-founder, Will, is a huge Padres fan. He's a lifelong San Diegan, lifelong Padres fan, and he's a huge supporter of our channel. They have offices right here in Liberty Station in San Diego. This is a plant-based nutrition company. Everything is plant-based. All of their supplements are plant-based, whether it's the probiotic, which I take every day, so does my wife, for digestion and many more reasons, or if it's the pre-workout supplements or proteins for after workouts, or omega-3 oils, if you take fish oils or sleep supplements or immunity pills. They have something for everyone. Use code USA25, get 25% off. Click the link in the description down below. If you support our channel, please support our local partners like Will at Aura, like Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Again, ora.organic, or click the link in the description down below and use that promo code to get 25% off right now.
Yeah, all of their supplements are organic-based, plant-based, and some of the healthiest, actually the healthiest on the market. So go out, get some supplements, take an opportunity to use the 25% off sale going on during the 4th of July weekend here. www.ora.organic. Pick up some stuff, try it out, and you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll be thanking us later.
All right, first of all, I do want to thank all of our new subscribers. Seriously, Jim wants to thank you guys as well. We're over 5,000 for the first time in channel history. So thank you guys. And thank you, Research, for the super and becoming a subscriber. He says, new subscriber, just curious, not hating. When does the pitching coach? Now, this is where Research, you may have gone too far. When does the pitching coach get blamed? But thank you for the super and thank you for your subscription.
Thank you.
We can agree to disagree. What has to happen? Great job, guys. Research, if that is your real name.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No,
I mean,
Ruben
pitching's been very good. Bullpen's
been
listen, it's been exposed the last month, not because of Ruben Niebla, because they don't have Robert Suarez out, Steven Wilson out, Nick Martinez bad, Josh Hader 1 inning. You're in the, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
They got way bigger issues. In fact, he's an asset to the organization. They have really had success with Ruben Niebla the last 2 years, and I think that's accurate.
Yeah, there's a reason why he was hired literally before Bob Melvin.
I feel like we have to have him,
right? And he's been fantastic. If anything,
he's been very good.
He is one of the most valuable pieces to this franchise. Honestly,
I would be utterly shocked if, like, tomorrow Ruben Niebla let go. I mean, dude, it's not happening. It would be like riots
if they let Ruben Niebla go. I just every show I would just be like, fire AJ Preller, fire AJ Preller. I would go off on him. I would just go fucking ballistic.
Yeah. And again, I don't know, Research, if he's a 10-year pitching coach here, because maybe he'll have other opportunities, but it's his second year. He should be here. for the foreseeable future, based on what I've seen. I think I don't know if he's a pitching whisperer, but I think he's done well with it, especially this bullpen. Your pitching guy. I mean, the Tom Cosgroves and the whomever else is in the back of this bullpen, they're pitching in tie games. I mean, you're asking a lot of this guy. You really are. And I think by and large, they've done half decent. Again, bullpen's been leaky recently, no doubt. Bullpen's been leaky, but I'm not putting it on Niebla.
No.
Because the bullpen's not even, again, it's not overly. You got Josh Hader and a bunch of guys, is the way I look at it. Without Suarez, without Wilson.
Yeah.
Delta J4, thank you. He says bullpen allowed 29 over the last 29 runs over the last 7 earned runs plus unearned. Well, okay. Well, I need to see, first of all, how many innings is that? Because they just threw 9 bullpen innings, I assume, is what we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of these are unearned?
But how many times in this past, basically what Delta J Ford is saying is over the last week or so, besides when Josh Hader's out there, which is rarely, how confident do you feel in this bullpen?
No, I mean, that's true. Not overly, but that's probably because of Steven Wilson and Robert Suarez and Nick Martinez hasn't pitched very well.
Yeah,
but yeah,
who knows?
And Luis Garcia's been awful.
And I said it the day it happened. That Wilson injury, because everyone was talking about Darvish not starting because he was being sick. I was like, dude, guys know that Wilson injury is going to be way fucking worse. And it proved to be so far.
You're like a soothsayer.
I am. I'm about to sneeze.
You should apply if the job comes open.
I didn't
sneeze.
A real
sneeze? That's not a real sneeze.
I yawned and I was about to sneeze, so it was like a yawn sneeze.
That
and
was bizarre.
I tried to sneeze
Someone
and it
cut
didn't
that.
work.
Someone meme that. That was awful. It was terrible.
Sorry, guys.
If you want these overalls, the link is pinned in the top of the chat. You know you want them.
Yes, you do.
Jim wants them. RH, thank you. He says Seidler has lost most, if not all, credibility. AJ has lost over 700 games. How is that excellent? Well, hold on. Brian Cashman's lost 2,000 games. You know what I mean? You can't just throw out a number. It's going to be based on like tenure. So, like, if you're a GM for 20 years, guess what? You have 700 losses.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, his record's under 500. That's fine. But I don't think like 700 losses is the threshold for firing.
No.
He'll still have 700 losses if they win the World Series this year.
To me, the threshold is seasons to playoff appearances. And then if you want to take a step further, seasons to World Series championships. And then you go the, micro stuff is seasons to division titles and all that, all of that, not wins and losses, not losses, especially like John said, because you could,
they just pile up.
Yeah. They pile up for sure. But I do agree. Like, how is 9 years with no division titles, no World Series appearances, 1 playoff appearance in a regular season? No, I know you hate this, but no 90 wins in each season.
I hate that. That's dumb.
Going through 4 different managers in 9 years. How is that excellence? Oh, and never drafting a player that turned into an all-star with your franchise. How is that excellence?
Listen, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it. And if at the end of the year they're out, we can have some real conversations, obviously, about his future. But like, we can spin some of these stats, like this 700 loss thing. Like, Brian Cashman is probably the losingest GM in baseball history. He's also like the winningest, but he's probably has like as many losses as any GM ever.
Yeah, he also has 4 World Series. And
it's 25 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's been a GM for 35 years. I'm sure there's an example back in the day, but
Seidler hasn't. I felt like lost credibility here, because there is still a second half, and Peter Seidler, he's the ultimate optimist. And if they did turn it around magically, then he's going to look like a freaking genius, and we're all going to look like idiots.
I can't wait for the series. Ohtani's the first pitcher to ever throw 9 perfect innings and hit 9 home runs in the series as the Padres sweep the Angels at Petco. It's going to be something ridiculous like that.
It will be. It will be.
I will take that if the Padres sweep the series. Moises, thank you again. He says, there's so much smoke about Preller and the culture he's created. Like Jim said, the lack of self-awareness by the eternal optimist is concerning. Also, firing Preller might be an admission of failure. But he didn't hire Preller. I mean, he was part of the ownership group that hired Preller. Is that correct? But he didn't single-handedly bring him in.
No, he didn't hand pick Preller to be the GM.
Right.
Because he was with the ownership group led by Ron Fowler at the time.
Right.
But like, yeah, if I just go back to the excellence line, man, like, what the fuck are you thinking saying that? Like you can you can be
You
diplomatic,
can just be like, listen, I think he's been, I think he's really done well for this organization, and we'll
and
see
then
how
just
this year plays out.
right and be like, look, we made the NLCS last year. I'm not giving up on this team. I know he's not giving up on this team. We still have 80
80
games
games.
to play. We're gonna play this thing out, and hopefully we make the postseason. But
Yeah, but let me ask you this.
Excellence. Like, what the fuck are you
Let
thinking?
me ask you this. If it's been so excellent, why are you in Cincinnati? If it's all hunky dory, why are you there Taylor Swift weekend?
To watch Taylor Swift.
If it's so great, why don't you just catch the team on Monday in San Diego? If it's so spectacular, why are you in Ohio?
Yeah, like you're not going there unless you have to be there because it's fucking a disaster.
Because everything's hit the fan. Now, again, to the team's credit, and I'm not a moral victory guy, and this team has put himself way behind the 8 ball, but I do have two eyes, and I do believe they actually have shown something for a few days.
Yeah.
Where it looks like they actually do care, and they've just been snake bitten, and it sucks. I mean, the way they're losing some of these games is horrific.
Right.
Now, again, it doesn't make anything bad, but it's not the typical rollover. Hey, they're down 2-0, game over. That's not who they've been, but they just keep losing. So it doesn't make it better.
I 100%. The last 3 games.
I think it's even maybe the last 4. Who did they lose? Pittsburgh game 3. Was that an awful loss? It was, right? They had a 4-0 lead. Maybe they did just roll over. They had a 4-0 lead in that game, right?
No, yeah, they rolled over.
Yeah. Okay.
So even though they lost 2 or 3 to the Reds, right? I agree with you. Each one of those games,
they actually looked.
They looked different. They did look different.
Maybe but they're still Seidler was in the building.
But they're still finding ways to lose. And
oh, no doubt. I'm not saying it's good.
It's not.
And by the way, it's a prerequisite. Man. Like you guys are getting paid handsomely. Like you're supposed to be one of the better teams in baseball. The prerequisite is to play hard for 27 outs. But we haven't really seen it.
Like, how about you guys not go 7 innings and not do shit and then try to do everything in the end?
And today's a good example. It really, it's a great example. The dude had like 12 strikeouts. And
But they did the Friday night game and today, usually it's,
I thought they were going to lose today 2-0.
Usually it's like they score 3 runs in the second and then they just go nothing for the rest of the game.
Right.
And there was the opposite for Friday and Sunday or today, where it was like they did nothing to start the game and then they finished strong, but they just couldn't hold it and they end up losing. So it's a little different than what we've seen, because you could say like, hey, there's some actual fight. They're down, they're down 2 outs in the 9th inning and they get a runner on, and Sanchez gets home from Cronenworth, and you're like, okay, runner on second. And then Odor hits a hard ball to second.
It's a seed.
Right. So
what was the exit velocity on that?
180 miles an hour.
No, it wasn't, but it was good.
So yeah, they fought, but like, again, you're 8 games under 500. There's no moral victories when you're 8 games under 500.
I know, it's a problem.
With a team
with
a team that has a $260 million payroll.
And by the way, I think they'll make a run somewhere. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I do. I don't know when. I hope it's before it's really too late. I'd like to see them do it and put a little bit of pressure on some, whether it's front office or other teams in front of them. I think at some point they'll do it. How can they not over 162? James, what do you got?
I was going to say, I agree with you, but I also do think that the 10-game road trip coming out of the All-Star break is the make or break for their season.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. Philly, Toronto, Detroit, just because. It's just like at some point, you're right. You can't go 4-6 on that trip.
That is the last stand.
Yeah, it's the last stand. It's like you're going to have to go 6-4, and even that is
not great.
World beating, but you can hang around, obviously,
doing
something like that. James, thank you. He says he looked it up, and Morejon went more than 3 innings in only 1 game. Morejon pitched 4 innings, April 5th, 2021. Jim, you are such an idiot.
Sorry, 4 innings 1 time.
Moron. No, thank you, James. Gosh, Jim, have you ever watched baseball before? Do you know like what they call it when you like hit the ball over the fence and it's fair?
Touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. Delta J4, thank you. Who is in Cincinnati says, and it's gross here, humidity through the roof. See, they played hard and it's hot, Jim. They deserve even extra credit. It was hot in Cincinnati today.
Okay. Well, it's hot here.
Is it? Not by the water, Jim.
Oh, it must be nice, Mr. Fucking. I have a
Okay, Mister, I'm getting married
mansion.
like on like a yacht in like the Pacific Ocean, like overseeing like Hawaii.
Yeah. So
Okay, while we have a
your
moment,
estate in fucking Del Mar overlooking Torrey Pines.
Oh yeah, in a state where I'm in my freaking kitchen every night.
Yeah, you
Trying
have
to
like
be quiet.
you have like a yearly membership to Torrey Pines, like
If I could play
courses.
golf, maybe. Have you ever been to my place? Have you ever been here?
I've been outside of your place, but never in your place.
Why were you outside my place? That's super weird.
Because we walked home from the golf tournament. Or no, I drove home. I drove you home after the Farmers Insurance Open, and we went to like a taco stand or something.
I don't even remember that.
Or no, I dropped you off by a taco stand. It was like
you
at your place. I didn't go to your house.
Roberto's? Very, very Mexican?
Yeah.
You dropped me off there?
I think so.
This is getting very shady. Guys, if you're here, check out our fantasy partner, daily fantasy partner, Underdog Fantasy, the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. They've got the 7th inning stretch going on right now. They're going to set your lineup at the end of each week. No setup necessary, no waivers, no trades, no anything other than the draft. $7 to enter, $30K to first place, $150K in prizes. It closes July 14th. You can sign up right now at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. And if you use promo code PADSWRAP, PODSWRAP, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's promo code PODSWRAP, and you will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You can see it right here. It is on the screen. It is going on right now. You can enter the 7th inning stretch, $7 to enter, $150,000 in total prizes. In addition to their daily drafts, they have pick'ems going on right now for tomorrow's action, including involving the Padres. So let's see tomorrow what's going on. You have Fernando Tatis Jr., who's pitching for the Angels tomorrow. It's not Ohtani.
Who cares?
Who cares? So you can go higher on Tatis. We can go lower on Mookie Betts.
Jaime Barria.
Whatever. We'll go higher.
Hey,
There's no KBO action.
He's 2-3 with a 2.92 ERA.
Okay, we might go lower. Hold on. We might go lower.
Yeah, and then you're facing Ohtani on Tuesday, and then you're facing Sandoval on Wednesday. And right now, the matchups are Snell, Musgrove, TBD. So watch out for TBD for the Padres on Wednesday.
He's been very good. So listen, $50 wager, you go 2 for 2. Tatis lower than 9.5 fantasy points. Betts lower than 9.5 fantasy points. $50 turns into $150. Okay?
Boom.
So look at this. Boom. There it is. Let's win. A little reverse jinx. If you get burned by Tatis, such is life. But lower on Tatis, lower on Betts.
You picked Betts? Oh, lower. I mean, sorry.
Lower, you idiot.
I picked higher. I was going to say Dodger loving.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Betts. It's the best. So anyway, 50 pays 150. UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code PADSWRAP. PADSWRAP and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. What do you think, Jim? That's a win.
I love it. Before we head out here, do you want to rant real quick about Fernando Tatis Jr. not making the All-Star game?
Yeah, I think it's stupid. And I understand if the voters aren't going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't understand if decision makers, who the hell makes the determination on the reserves? Is it solely? It's not solely the manager, but you have to have a player from every team.
I think it might be players vote.
Yeah, but it can't be solely because you have to, you know what I mean? You have to a player from every team.
Right.
No, it's not play. I don't know what the hell. Does someone know the actual
I think the players
criteria?
Vote on it. I think the players vote on it.
No, they don't.
And the managers vote too.
And they're like, hey, Fernando, what do you think? Is Manny an all-star? Okay. Charlie Long says coaches and players on all teams. Maybe Jim's right.
Whoa.
But here's the thing. You're not watching Fernando if you don't think he's an all-star. He misses 20 games. He's played a brilliant right field. He's hit for power. Has it been perfect? No. I even understand him not starting, although I think without the PEDs, he's clearly getting voted in because he's so popular. But forget the popularity contest. He's deserving based on what he's done on field. I know he's on a bad team. He's deserving based on what he's done on field. I'm not going to go sell you Machado or Bogarts, but I'm watching Tatis. Tatis has been just as good as Juan Soto. He's had way more big-time moments than Juan Soto. And I think Juan Soto's deserving as well, by the way. I do. I think you look at the numbers, you'll say, well, he walks a lot. If you look at the numbers, Juan Soto's deserving. Fernando Tatis Jr. should be on the team.
I agree. He should 100% be on the team, but I'm not going to be as upset about it because the team sucks. And to get 3 All-Stars from a shitty team, it was either going to be Soto or Tatis. That's how I kind of figured it to be,
Right.
and obviously Josh Hader. So it was going to be Hader and then either Soto and Tatis. And Soto's been with the team all year, played in almost every game, and he's a deserving All-Star. But like, yes, Tatis should be there. I don't want to see Gurriel from the Diamondbacks being All-Star because, frankly, I'm sorry, no one would want to watch him over Tatis. Just plain and simple. But you're dealing with a player on a team that sucks, and Tatis is having a really good year, but he's also not having this out of this world, oh my God year. And that doesn't mean he shouldn't be an All-Star, but I'm not going to like be that upset about it.
Look at it this way. He's pacing for 40 and 100 if it was a full season.
Okay, it's pretty fucking
And he's
good.
not an All-Star. And HW is like, just got off suspension for cheating. Come on. Well, who cares?
Yeah,
First of all, we don't even know the full circumstance, but whatever. And I'm not going to be an apologist because we really haven't been, but whatever. You can say that. He's just getting off suspension for cheating. Well, guess what? He's no longer on the suspension for cheating.
He's
so
actually
treat him like
playing.
the other players.
Yeah, he leads the league in outfield assists. He's played Gold Glove defense, even though Gold Glove means shit. And he's been one of the best offensive players in baseball. He should be an All-Star. If the team was better, he would have been an All-Star.
Well said. All right, guys. Jim, wait, is my light even on? Yeah, it is. Jim is gone tomorrow. I want to say Jim's like, where are you? Probably Del Mar.
Coronado.
Oh, must be nice. So Jim will be in Coronado tomorrow night, sailing with his yacht friends at the America's Cup or whatever. But there will be a wrap-up show tomorrow night with me. There will not be a wrap-up show July 4th, which is my wife's birthday, and it is July 4th, unless something crazy happens with like Ohtani and there's a benches clearing brawl with Ohtani and Machado.
The only way we're doing a show on Tuesday is if Ohtani throws a perfect game.
No, I think the only way we do a show is if like Ohtani allows like 5 home runs.
If Joe Musgrove throws a perfect game on Tuesday.
We don't do an Angels wrap-up show.
Right. If Joe Musgrove throws a perfect game on Tuesday.
Or if they trade for Ohtani. Yeah. If they trade for Ohtani Tuesday, we will also do a show.
Yeah. But
that's not happening.
But John loves to just whatever. We're not doing a show Tuesday.
I can't do it, not with Ohtani starting.
Sorry, guys.
But we will be here tomorrow night. So here's the deal. Please subscribe. We're well past 5,000 now because of you guys. That's awesome. 5,005 at last check. Thank you. If you're here live or on replay, please subscribe. We really do appreciate it. You guys have helped us get this thing off the ground. And look at us now, 5,000 subscribers. So thank you. Smash the like button for us. You can follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for your support of our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, Auto, Home, Renters Life, Earthquake Insurance Needs. Mark is your guy. Ora, ORA.organic. If you have any nutritional needs, make sure to check out our friends at Ora. Click the link in the description down below. You can get 25% off through July 4th, by the way. Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code PADSWRAP and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And if you want this, what is this? These overalls. Okay. I've never worn overalls in my life until today. If you want these Padres overalls, click the link that is pinned in the top of the chat. Get 10% off by using promo code WrapUpShow10 in all caps. WrapUpShow10, 10% off from our friends at FOCO. Pick up a pair of Padres overalls. Angels wrap-up show is coming up next. For Jim, I'm John. This has been the Padres wrap-up show.